Hey, it's Michael here, and today I want to give you a replay of a couple of audio files that I used in a recent live ACB Community event. So some of you know that earlier last week, Tuesday, to be exact, I hosted a ACB community event where we demonstrated for you my favorite task management app, even though I have a love-hate relationship with it, called Todoist. And in that demonstration, I recorded a couple of pieces of audio for you. So today's Digital Byte is going to be a little bit longer than normal, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by playing in here a brief demo of setting Todoist up on Windows, and then I'm going to demonstrate for you Todoist and the usage of Todoist on iOS. We're going to take a brief exploration of the application, and hope you enjoy this.
So we'll start out in Edge on the downloads page at Todoist, Todoist.com/downloads with an S. I'll use H for heading navigation.
Todoist apps for all your devices, heading level 1.
And we'll down arrow until we find, in this case, Windows 10/11. Use the H key.
Desktop heading, Mac OS heading, Windows 10/11 heading level 5.
Until you find Windows 10/11, down arrow once.
Microsoft Store app batch graphic. Link or download here.
You can download it in the Microsoft Store or link download here.
Downloads vertical bar Todoist. Link or download here. Loading page. Loading complete. Downloading Todoist-Win32-8.12.x 142 MB.
So I'm going to exit Edge and go to File Explorer and then locate my
downloads.
And press Enter.
Items view list box. Items view multi-select list box. Today expanded. Todoist dash.
And there's Todoist. So again, we'll press Enter. Actually, we need to select it with space and then press Enter.
Todoist setup dialog. Todoist 8.12.2. Todoist 8.12.2. Todoist 8.12.2 installing. Please wait while Todoist is being installed. 78%. 100%. Downloads.
Once that install is done, the file will automatically close and then opens Todoist automatically for you. You don't have to hit next or anything. Just give it a couple of moments and it will then give you access to the Todoist application. You're then put on an application that says log in with your browser. This will only take a couple of moments. When you get that, or your title bar says
Todoist,
simply tap your tab key.
Close window button. Close.
And again.
Log in via your browser link.
And I'll press Enter on that.
Todoist-Microsoft Edge alert.
This puts me back on Todoist's webpage.
Login heading level 1.
And if you use heading navigation, you can log in. So I'm going to go ahead and log in real quick.
Password edit. Bullet. Log into Todoist document. Cancel button.
Once you're logged in, a dialog pops up that says,
this site is trying to open Todoist left parent Mac right parent.
Fun fact, it says the Mac, but it actually opens the Windows version if you're on Parallels. Now, we need to allow it to open that, so we'll go ahead and do that so that way Todoist knows we've successfully logged in. Once you're signed into Todoist on Windows, you should be placed on your
inbox and Todoist.
And if you don't find immediately the link that says
skip the task list same page link,
use your tab key to locate that. I'll press Enter on that.
Inbox heading level 1, inbox.
And then this puts me on a heading level 1 for my inbox, and at this point, I'll disable my virtual viewer.
Off.
And we'll use our down arrow or Todoist keystrokes to navigate.
Call leads, send invoice for figure out if I'm keeping the add task button.
You will eventually get to an add task button. You can press Enter on that, or what I do is just tap the Q key.
Task name edit.
This puts me in the task name, and I'm going to type in demo Todoist for Windows audio on Saturday afternoon. And I'm going to press Enter.
Add task button. Task added to inbox open.
And you hear that the task was added to your inbox, and I tap Escape to dismiss that window. And if I tap the up arrow, I have a list of all of my tasks, so I can locate
Demo Todoist for Windows audio button.
And if that's the one I want to complete, I'll hit E.
Alert, one task completed. Undo, closed. Figure out if I'm keeping the...
And one task is completed. If you need a list of all the keystrokes in Todoist, tap a question mark.
General open task view, enter, select task X, move focus up, upward 0, or K, move focus down, downward 0.
Tap the escape to close the keystroke list.
Figure out if I'm keeping...
And another thing that you'll learn in Todoist is OU. Open user.
Settings menu, Michael Babcock 1/1 task ONP menu 1 of 11, M.
And if you'd like to get directly to your productivity, tap O P.
Settings OS menu 2 of 11.
To get to settings, tap your OS, and that'll allow you to configure Todoist to fit your needs. That's a brief demonstration of the Todoist setup process and a brief exploration of your inbox. Remember, use your up and down arrow keys to navigate through a list of tasks in a project. O for open, U for users, and S for settings, or G for go to, P for projects, T to go to today, I for inbox, or U to go to your upcoming tasks. Use the question mark to get a list of all of these keystrokes, and if you found any use in this content, please don't hesitate to share with someone and reach out with feedback. Okay, so in this quick clip, we're going to open Todoist. I'll give you a brief introduction to the layout of the application, and we'll show you how you can complete / do a couple of things. So first, I'll go home.
Safari.
And I'm going to flick over to my page switcher because, frankly, I don't know where Todoist is right now.
Search. Page 1 of 6. Adjustable.
And if I double tap on this.
Spotlight. Text field. Is editing. Search. Insertion point at start.
And I'll type in TOD.
T. Top search. F. D. Top search result. Todoist. 70 items found.
We'll touch Todoist.
Todoist. Button.
And then double tap.
Todoist. Opportunity does not knock. It presents itself when you beat down the door. Kyle Chandler.
Every once in a while, you get those random quotes that kind of can be inspirational, but this is the main Todoist screen. At the bottom, we have several tabs.
Tab bar. Today. Tab. 1 of 4.
And we'll flick across these tabs.
Upcoming. Tab. 2 of 4. Search. Tab. 3 of 4. Selected. Browse. Tab. 4 of 4.
And Browse is really the main tab. I work out of Browse and
Upcoming. Tab. 2 of 4.
Upcoming, and on occasion, well, sometimes I'm
Today.
in
Tab. 1 of 4.
Today. But honestly, Upcoming lets me see what's coming up next, both today and moving forward. Now, when you're in the Browse tab, you have some icons across the top. And most of the tabs on this app look the same at the top as well. So I'll show you that, except for this button in the top left corner.
Record. Back button.
The back button is at the top left corner. When you find that, if you flick to the right or slide your finger to the right, you'll hear
More actions button.
More actions. That More Actions button is typically in the top corner of the app. The back button is not always there. Think of the back button as a menu button, because if we flick to the left
Back button.
and we double tap on back,
Upgrade to Pro. Set up reminders. Add extra projects. And more. Button.
it wants me to upgrade to Pro, but we have some icons across the top now. If I touch in the top left corner where the back button was.
Upgrade to Pro. Productivity. Daily goal. 0/0 tasks. Button.
And it tells me 0/0 tasks. We'll get into productivity in a minute. But if you flick to the right.
Notifications. Button. Settings. Button.
So that's how you get to the main settings of the application, is you touch the Browse button in the bottom right-hand corner, touch back, and then touch settings, which is in the top right-hand corner. Now that we've hit back, we have some other elements on the screen.
Upgrade to Pro. Inbox. Favorites. Heading. B. Button.
So there's favorites, and then that's a heading, so I can switch to heading navigation.
Headings.
And flick down.
My projects. Heading. Heading not found.
And there's my projects. And if I flick to the right.
AT guys. Todoist webinar with Damash and Michael. Unmute. Manage projects. Button.
And there's the Manage Projects button.
Browse templates. 0 tasks. Button. Quick add. Button.
Browse templates, quick add, and that gives you those abilities. So on this screen, I'm going to choose Inbox.
Inbox. Button.
If I double tap on that,
Selected. Back button.
this brings me to a task list. And most projects in Todoist will look similar to what you're going to see in this instance. You're going to have your back button in the top left corner. If you flick to the right,
More actions. Button.
you'll have more action. You'll have more actions, which is a contextual-based menu. Let's double tap on more actions.
More actions. Comments. Button.
If you have comments on a project, you can find those comments here, but we can flick to the right.
Add section, button. Copy link to inbox, button. Select tasks, button. View, button. Activity log, button. Dismiss context menu, button.
So as you can see, there's a lot you can do within a project itself. I'm going to dismiss this.
Back button.
And now I am in the project again. And the way the project is laid out is you have the back button in the top left corner, the more options button in the top right corner. Your tasks are down the middle of the screen. And if you have sections, you can navigate those sections by switching to heading navigation and flicking down to those specific sections. You can double tap on a heading to expand or collapse that section. So if you have tasks in a specific section, you can hide those quickly by double tapping on the section itself, and that'll hide those particular tasks to clean up your inbox. But I have a task here that I want to complete. Let me find it.
Send a weekly reminder. Record a demo showing how to set quick add up. September 1/6/2024. Button.
That task is a little bit out of date. But on this task, now that it's selected with my VoiceOver cursor, I can flick down and I have several actions.
Complete. Reschedule. Drag item. Activate. Default.
By default, it's going to activate if you double tap. However, I'm going to flick down.
Complete.
And I'm going to double tap on complete. You get that satisfying click
button.
sound to let you know that it has completed. And now that task is complete. Now, I want to show you two other things. Number one, I'm going to touch the menu button in the top left corner.
Activate to dismiss pop. 7:30. Activate to dismiss pop. Navbar. 7:30. Navbar. Back button.
And we'll split tap there.
Inbox. Button.
Now, Todoist does a great job at implementing drag and drop with VoiceOver. So I'm going to touch towards the middle of my screen.
Todoist webinar with Damash and Michael. Button.
And I'm going to double tap on this to open this project.
Select it. Back button.
And now I have some tasks in here, and let's find one.
Create sequence of emails for webinar. Assigned to Michael Badcock. Button.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's move that to my inbox. So if I flick down, I'll have the same options you already heard.
Complete. Reschedule. Drag item. Activate. Default.
And by default, to get here faster, I'm going to flick up to drag item.
Drag item.
And then I'm going to double tap on drag item.
Create outline for webinar and doc. Button.
I'm going to now tap in the top left corner.
7:31 Todoist webinar. Back button. Todoist webinar with Damash.
And now I'm going to find my inbox.
Upgrade to Pro. Inbox. Button.
I'm going to double tap on inbox.
Selected. Inbox.
And then let's say I want to drop this right after.
Check out Vision Tech Academy. Button.
So I'll flick up.
Cancel drag. Drop after item. Drop ready.
And I can double tap here, but I also can.
Drop onto item. Drop ready. Drop before item. Drop ready.
So I'm going to actually drop before this item here. If I flick to the left right now, you'll hear.
Sent Donna information about Herbie's cooking.
And then if I flick to the right.
Check out Vision Tech Academy. Button.
So I'm going to flick up on Check Out Vision Tech Academy.
Cancel drag. Drop after drop onto drop before item. Drop ready.
We'll double tap on drop before item.
Drop complete.
You hear drop is complete. Now if I flick to the left.
Create sequence of emails for webinar. Button.
And then flick to the left again.
Sent Donna information about Herbie's Cooking Corner, ACB Community, Bits, and ACB Media. Button.
So as you can see, now I have another task here.
Create sequence of emails for webinar. Check out Vision Tech Academy. Button.
That I can easily navigate. That is how you drag and drop tasks. You can drag tasks from any project or section within Todoist and drop it in any project or section within Todoist. Now, we're going to tap the back button in the top left corner.
7:33 Navbar. Back button.
And if I double tap that.
Inbox. Button.
I hear inbox. I'm going to flick to the left now, and we'll flick past settings and notifications and the favorite projects that I have.
Upgrade to Pro. Settings. Button. Notifications. Button.
Now, when I flick one more time, you'll hear.
Productivity. Daily goal. 0/0 tasks. Button.
That, for some reason, does not dynamically update. But if I double tap on that, because you may remember we completed a task.
Settings. Button.
And then I flick to the right.
Productivity. Heading. Done. Button. Done. Button. Michael Badcock. 6,738 completed tasks. Button.
You've heard that I've completed 6,738 tasks. Then I flick to the right.
Daily goal. 1/1 tasks. Well done.
And my daily goal, 1/1 task, is well done.
Edit goals. Button.
You can edit your goals here. And you will hear something different. So let me show you what you will hear.
Michael Babcock. 6,738 completed tasks. Button.
So there's your tasks, your name, and then the amount of tasks you've completed. I'm going to flick to the right.
Selected. Daily. Button. 1 of 3.
You'll hear daily.
Weekly. Button. 2 of 3. Karma. Button. 3 of 3.
And karma. And I'm going to double tap on karma.
Selected. Karma. 3 of 3.
The reason you did not hear those 3 tabs is because I have my VoiceOver set to group. So if I stop interacting with this with 2-finger swipe to the left, and then I flick to the left, you'll hear my name followed by the completed task.
Michael Babcock. 6,738 completed tasks. Button.
And then if I flick to the right, you're not going to hear anything because Todoist hasn't labeled this group. But if I flick to the right again.
Karma goal. Grandmaster. 32,220. 17,780 left to get to enlightened.
Putting your VoiceOver in group mode allows you to quickly skip past those tabs. And that's the brief demo of Todoist on iOS that I wanted to share with you.
Hey everyone, it's Chris back with some Digital Bytes for you today. I'd like to go back to basics. Sometimes we get sort of enthralled with the latest and greatest thing, and maybe it's advanced and, oh my goodness, this new cool feature. But I think it's also great to review and go back to basics. I was sitting with a staff member of ours, just showing her some tips and things that she could use with our older blind clients. And she just wanted to pick my brain about some of the settings and things that I do that make the phone easier for people to use. So what I thought I would do is take us to the phone app in the settings and just show you some things that I was thinking about as I was working with this staff member. So it seems strange to me that Apple does not put the phone app in the main settings screen of your phone. You have to go all the way to the bottom of the list of things in settings, and you'll find the apps button. And then you'll scroll down to alphabetical listing to phone. And in my case, it took a while. I had to go through the alphabetical index because I probably have 170 apps on my phone. Kind of ridiculous. Anyway, so I'm here in the phone.
Apps, back button.
And so, here's my apps back button.
Phone, heading.
And here we go. So we're going to explore some of the settings in phone and things that make people's lives a little easier.
Allow phone to access, heading.
The things that the phone can access.
Apple Intelligence and Siri.
So we're going to take a short break and move to the Siri settings. It may be called Apple Intelligence and Siri for you, or Siri and Search, depending on which phone you have. And so I have scrolled down to the particular setting that we want to hang up the phone.
Call hang up, on, button.
Okay, so this is important. There is a call hang up, which I have turned on. And this was not available to me until, of course, I activated Hey S Lady. And of course, I had to speak to her and let her know my voice and that sort of thing. And so when you have the setting on that she can tell you about who's calling, and you can always access that, this hang up phone calls is available to you as well. So beyond that,
announce calls button.
That is turned on always.
Announce notifications button.
And so forth. And so as long as the announce calls is on and it's set to always, you can ask her to answer the phone or answer the phone on speaker, which is great. And that works. I tried that out, calling myself from a different phone. And then while the phone call is in progress, you can ask her to hang up the phone. Now, that is turned off by default. And so when you go in here to the settings with Siri and search, you'll find if you have the Hey S Lady turned on, you'll be able to turn on the switch for her to be able to hang up a call as well, which is really great if your hands are in the middle of cooking dinner or washing dishes, or maybe you have some dexterity issues where the 2-finger double tap is difficult for you to do. That is certainly a handy dandy way to answer and hang up the phone. And now we're going to go back to the phone app settings. So I'm going to work my way through the rest of the settings here.
Search button. Notifications, banners, sounds, badges button.
Okay, so the notifications, you've got them all, badges, sounds, badges, etc.
Cellular data, switch button, on.
I've got the cellular data, of course, turned on.
Default calling app, phone button.
Okay, I'm not sure what other app I would use. I mean, I'm wondering if it kind of means like WhatsApp or whatnot, so.
Incoming calls, full screen button.
Now, this is a good one. Incoming calls is set to full screen. Now, usually the phone's default setting is like a banner. So there's just a little banner that I believe appears at the top of the screen. But when you have it in full screen, it makes it easier for someone who has low vision. Maybe someone's losing their vision. Maybe they're older. They need to really be able to see that full screen of when the phone rings. They need to be able to see what's happening. So it makes the green answer button and the red hang up button a lot more visible.
Announce calls, always button.
Okay, so here's the announce calls, always. And so I believe that's going to happen whether VoiceOver is turned on or not, especially if you have Siri be able to access the phone.
My number, share name and photo, contacts only button.
Okay, so I swiped past my phone number so I don't publicize it to the whole world. But then we have share my name and photo with contacts only. Now, I'd prefer to leave it that way. Otherwise, apparently, I have to sort of ask each time, if I want to share my photo and name. So that seems kind of unwieldy.
Updated name and photo will be automatically shared with people in your contacts.
Okay, so that's just an explanation there.
Calls, heading.
Here's about the calls.
Wi-Fi calling, on button.
Okay, I have that turned on, and that's kind of nice because then you don't have to use any data, and you can maybe get better reception. Say that you're in a poor cell signal area, and if you have access to Wi-Fi, that would make your call a bit clearer. Now, when I did that, I seem to remember that I also had to tell it my, home-based sort of emergency address in case emergency services needed to get in touch with me. For some reason, it was kind of wound up with that setting.
Calls on other devices, on button.
Okay, so I guess I wanted to answer a call on another device like my Mac or my iPad. I could do that.
Respond with text, button.
Okay, now the respond with text button, you can choose what you want to say. As the phone is ringing, you can choose a default answer like, hey, I can't talk right now, or call you back soon. And that is definitely an editable field.
Call forwarding button.
Okay, now, not sure about the call forwarding. I haven't really experienced that because I don't need to do that. But if you had a second line, perhaps, or another number that you wanted your calls forwarded to, you could do that.
Call waiting button.
Okay. Call waiting. That's another option.
Call recording on button.
Okay. This is cool. Call recording is turned on. And of course, I think we've had a digital byte or two about that in the past. So when you want to record a call, you're going to hide the keypad and then you're going to go up to the top left corner, and there is the call recording button. It announces the fact that you're recording to the person you're talking to, and then you can chat away, and then you can stop it at any time, and then a recording of that is placed in the call recordings folder in your notes app, and then you can also ask for a transcript or show a transcript of the call. And as I demonstrated recently, I believe, on another Digital Byte, you can also send that transcript to ChatGPT and it can summarize it for you, which is really kind of cool.
Show my caller ID button.
Okay, there's show my caller ID, and I do have that turned on.
Live voicemail on button.
So live voicemail is one of those things where you can get a transcript and be notified when someone is leaving a voicemail in case you see, oh my word, it's the doctor calling. I better answer. I don't want them to hang up before I get a chance to answer. And so you can then figure out who's calling. There'll be a little transcript of what they're saying, and you can answer the call before they hang up the voicemail.
Silence unknown callers off button.
So for whatever reason, I have turned that off, silence unknown callers. I'm not really quite sure why I turned that off, but I could then double tap it here.
Settings. Silent calls from unknown numbers will be silenced, sent your voicemail, and displayed on the recents list. Incoming calls will continue to ring from people in your contacts, recent outgoing calls, and Siri suggestions.
Okay, so that's good news. At least I'll know the person called, but I won't be annoyed by them. And so that'd be really good, because sometimes you do get these calls from foreign countries just trying to contact me for some reason. So
silence unknown callers, switch button, off.
Okay, so it's still off. I just went in there to read about it. And now if I double tap,
on.
Now it's on. Okay, so I will definitely silence those unknown callers.
4:18 p.m.
I'm not sure why that decided to tell you the time. But anyway, at least I'll not worry about the unknown callers.
Calls from unknown, silence unknown callers, switch button, silence unknown phone, back button.
Here.
Silence unknown callers, call blocking and identification button.
Okay, there's this call blocking and identification. And there's a way to see who your blocked contacts are. And you can also, that's another place in the phone. Let's see what's in here.
Business call identification on button.
Okay, that's good news.
Display verified caller information and logo identified by Apple Business Connect or T-Mobile.
Okay, so T-Mobile is my phone carrier.
Silence junk callers, switch button on.
Okay, that's good news. I've got silence junk callers.
Calls identified by T-Mobile as potential spam or fraud will be silenced, automatically sent to voicemail, and displayed on the recent list.
Okay, so I'm glad that they're still displayed on the recents list.
Calls identified by
and that's the end of that. Okay, so
calls up display business call phone back button
here, and we'll
call
see what else we
have.
have.
Blocked contacts, SMS/call.
Okay, so I have blocked contacts, and I can see those, and then we have
SMS/call reporting button.
There's the call reporting. And so you can report calls. I haven't really dived into that because I feel like I have enough parameters put in place that I'm not going to worry about, reporting anybody or anything. So let's see if this is the last thing here.
Dial assist, switch button, off.
Okay, there's dial assist.
Dial assist automatically determines the correct international or local prefix when dialing.
Okay, so I don't really make any out-of-country calls, but if I did, that could be handy.
Dial assist automatically.
And that is the last thing in the settings app for the phone. So I hope you found this helpful, cruising through the settings on phone, and maybe there are a couple of options that will make you or a friend or loved one's life a little easier when using the phone. And so happy calling.
Hey, Marty here. And today I want to talk to you about VoiceOver Practice. This is geared towards those new to VoiceOver people who are just getting going with VoiceOver. They're just learning. So this is called VoiceOver Practice. And what you do to access it is you go to Settings, then you go to Accessibility, and then you go to VoiceOver, then you go to VoiceOver Practice. Once that's open, then you'll be presented with a blank screen. On that screen, you can double tap, single tap, swipe to the right, swipe to the left, and practice all of your gestures. Each time you do a gesture, it's going to tell you out loud, verbally, what each gesture is. So for example, if you do a single finger swipe to the right, it will say, swipe to next item out loud. If you do a single finger swipe to the left, it will say previous item out loud. So this is VoiceOver Practice. For those of you who are new to VoiceOver, this is a great way to hop in there and practice all of your gestures and flicks and swipes without worrying about messing anything up on your device. So it's really great. I definitely would recommend anyone who's new to VoiceOver checking this out. It's very helpful. Also, if you have more questions about VoiceOver for your iPhone or your iPad or any of that, then you can always email us at feedback@unmute.show, and we will try to assist if we can, or maybe provide you with some resources. In any case, once again, VoiceOver Practice. Good luck and enjoy.